I'd come out to a 12 o'clock start for a Saturday game at like 9 a.m. before anyone's even getting the field ready to go. I was out there stretching, doing my routines. My coach is like, "What are you doing? You should be honestly probably still just eating breakfast or getting up out of bed by then." And it was just the cycle of overthinking, overanalyzing. I was trying to think robotically when I was pitching rather than going out and just saying, I'm just going to trust my stuff. At the end of the year, last game of the season, I just had another bad start. He's like, "Hey, let's go out. You don't go out. You don't drink. You don't ever even talk to girls. You don't do anything." And it's like, when are you going to have fun and just like hang out with the team?
He's a professional baseball player, played for the Savannah Bananas. He's on his own journey to 100 miles an hour and coaches the next generation of pitchers. Today, he's going to take us inside the mind of a pitcher. Jestin, you said your JUCO coach had the whole team run sprints at 3 a.m. after a loss. Can you share that story with us?
Yeah. So Wabash Valley at the time was a super high ranked team. We got beat by like 20 runs. Our coach was like, "Okay, you guys just got the break speed off you. We're going to go back and run now because you can't sleep at nighttime." The field was right next to like our dorm room and everything. And he comes out and he's like, "Hey, you guys are going to come back and start running sprints." This is the same JUCO coach that used to make guys run Mile Monday to try to make the team. If you didn't run a mile under 7 minutes, you couldn't practice for the week. So it was like, he was like a military instructor. He was in the military. And he was like, "We're going to start running now because you guys got beat so bad." And that's just how it was.
And he had you run the mile every single Monday?
Every single Monday in the fall. It started at 7:30 and it dropped by 5 seconds every single Monday it went on, and eventually got down to, I think, 6:45 miles. Obviously, there were some guys that didn't make that time. When I first got recruited to go to the JUCO, I was like around the 8 minute, 30-second mile range. And he's like, "Dude, you're 240, 250 pounds. You need to get in better shape when you come here." And when I got there, when my parents dropped me off, he's like, "Dude, you freaking got in great shape. Like, I didn't actually think you're going to be able to do this." And that's when I was running down in like the 6:12, 6:13 range in the mile. So I dropped like 2 minutes off my mile in like, I think it was 6 months or something, to try to make his Mile Monday times.
Yeah, and hard work is definitely a common theme among your journey, but I'm curious, you weren't highly recruited out of college, so share with us how you got to junior college in the first place and your road to becoming a pitcher only.
So I was recruited as a hitter coming out of high school. I had a pretty high exit velo, but I just did not pitch. I think I only had 13 innings my senior year. I still threw decently hard. I was up to like 88, 89 mile an hour, but like the pitchability wasn't there. I had a fastball and a curveball. I didn't have a third pitch. I didn't have a changeup. I was a guy that just came out of the bullpen and just like tried to throw fastballs by guys. Obviously, it wasn't super effective. I mean, it was just go out there and see if you can throw strikes. And they recruited me as an outfielder, like I said. Went to the fall. They cut me as a hitter. They're like, "Hey, you're not going to be able to be a hitter here. You have to reinvent yourself, figure out what you need to do to make the team." So I'm like, "Okay, I need to pitch then." I experimented with a lot of different mechanics. I got up to 91 in that time. And then I came back in the springtime, set the school record for strikeouts. I had a 16 strikeout game as a starter, and the rest is history from there. I had a couple Power Four offers out of there. I went to St. Leo, which was a D2 school because they were willing to offer a little bit more scholarship money over like a 4 year span rather than a 1 year scholarship that other schools were offering. But a lot of stuff took off from there where I was able to focus on one thing and really dial down rather than coming in as like a hitter. And it was a lot of struggles at first because I didn't really know how to pitch. And coming into like college ball, like JUCO, I know it's JUCO baseball, but like a lot of guys, we had to think 40 pitchers overall, like between two-way guys. I think we had like 25 POs and 40 dudes that could throw. And they would just recruit a lot of guys that could possibly pitch. So it was like a lot of people you're competing against. I was able to beat them out and become a starter and put up some decent stats before I went to St. Leo University.
Why do you think JUCO is a better route for guys than a traditional 4 year school?
When it comes to like JUCO ball, I always tell people when I'm talking to kids that I'm helping that you get to play like 20, 30 games in the fall. So you get to experiment with things, especially like myself that didn't have a lot of experience pitching. I got to pitch a lot in the fall, develop. You're playing games every single day, like inter squads. You're playing real games against other teams. You get to go play other Division I schools. We have to play Murray State in the fall. So you get to refine your craft and your skills before you go into the spring and get like experience time playing against college competition. When you're coming out of high school, you're playing college hitters. Even if you're playing just inter squads in the fall against like, let's say, a Division I team, there's only so much stuff they can do. There's only so many hours they can have you at the field. At JUCO, they can have you at the field for 6, 7 hours a day. And it's just like, as long as you get your school in, they don't really care. They want you at the field developing, getting better. But when it comes to like actually like refining your stuff, there's less resources at the JUCO level. But overall, I think that if you're a hardworking person and you have other people around you that are good, like-minded people, this is where you can really develop and see like, hey, this is a chance to take, yeah, I'm at a JUCO, but you can also use it as development time.
And you have experience in both the junior college level and the Division two school. Compare the mindset between a junior college guy versus a 4-year guy.
So it seemed like JUCO was kind of like it might have been a little different in my situation because there was 41 freshmen, so there's a lot of like high school minded people still. I think they only returned like 6 sophomores that year, so it's just like guys are a little bit closer at JUCOs because they're the same age wise. So there's a lot more friends, a lot more like tighter knit people. When you get to like a next school, when you got guys that are 23, 24, or grad guys versus 18-year-old freshmen, it kind of is harder to get like a friendship type of thing, but like it's also better talent wise at the top, obviously. So the mindset shift was, hey, now I'm at this school. JUCO's like kind of like the development area. NCAA is kind of like, hey, it's time to go, time to get going. And there's not as like experiment stuff going on. There's less scholarships to give out at JUCO. They can give out like 20 some scholarships to everyone. At NCAA, like especially where I was at St. Leo, I think they only had 9 scholarships to give out for like 50 guys. So it's like if you got money invested into you as like a scholarship wise, you better produce. Obviously, the coach's job's still on the line either way, but there's a lot less resources to go around, and it's like less like experimental stuff. And it's like if you have money invested into you, you got to produce, or that coach's job's on the line a lot of the times.
Yeah, and just like everybody else's journey, there's been ups and downs along the way. And I'm really curious about this post you put online that partying actually helped you go pro. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so my sophomore year at St. Leo, I was still throwing 94, 95 mile an hour. I still had the pitch ability to go pro, but I just was so focused and fixated on like, how am I moving? What's my mechanics like? Let me go home. Let me stretch for an hour after practice. Let me like watch every little video, everything about Trevor Bauer at the time. Kids watch Paul Skeens now, but Trevor Bauer was the OG guy back then. And I was like, I'm gonna try to figure out everything he's doing, everything that everyone that's like Roldis Chapman's doing. And it kind of like set me down this like, hey, you got to be perfect mechanically, you got to be perfect with your warm ups. Took me an hour and a half to get ready for my starts. I'd come out to like a 12 o'clock or 1 p.m. start for a Saturday game at like 9 a.m. before anyone's even getting the field ready to go. I was out there like stretching, doing my routines. My coach is like, what are you doing? Like, you should be like, honestly, probably still just eating breakfast or getting up out of bed by then for like a start that's then you need your sleep. And it was just the cycle of overthinking, overanalyzing, and just not really. I was trying to think robotically when I was pitching rather than going out and just saying F you to batters, getting by them. And like, I'm just going to trust my stuff. And my roommate at the time, I think I had a 7 ERA or close to a high 6. And he's like, at the end of the year, last game of the season, I just had another bad start. He's like, hey, let's go out. You don't go out. You don't drink. You don't ever even talk to girls. You don't do anything. And it's like, when are you going to have fun and just like hang out with the team? Because the guys love me. They saw how hard I was at working, like how hard I was at working at baseball development. But they're just like, there was this disconnect of like being friends with people. I was just so focused on this. It was like I neglected all my friends, everyone else on the team, which people love me for that. But it was like, this dude's just that's all he does. And they got me to go out and have a fun time out at a bar down in Tampa. And I didn't drink. I still don't drink. But I just went out and still had fun. They honestly probably used me as the DD. That's what they were probably trying to get because they knew I didn't drink. But I mean, I went down and had fun with everyone and was able to like say, okay, there's a different side to life. There's a different side to having fun with people. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, Justin's out. He's having fun. It's almost like people wanted to buy me, like every single person wanted to buy me a drink. But I'm like, I'm not drinking it still. But it was just kind of cool to be out there and actually see like how people reacted outside of the baseball field to see the real genuine side of people. Cause a lot of times coaches will just like, you know how people are when it comes to acting a different way on the field versus when you're comfortable. So I
Right.
really didn't have like the friendships like I do off the field when I was on the field. So I think it's important to have that balance of like who is someone really, because when their coaches are there, it's different too. But then I was able to transition into actually having fun. So that same time I went out to the bar and stuff. The very next summer, or in the very next season, I came back and had 9 saves out of the bullpen. I was 6-1 out of the bullpen. Like I said, I think 13 was the record for saves. I was at double digit almost with 6 wins. So I was pitching amazing. I think I had a 2.2 ERA. Went on to play for the Savannah Bananas that same summer in the Coastal Plains League. Won a championship, had a I think 3 ERA in total after the playoffs. I think I had like 30 innings, 47 strikeouts, and like 7 walks or something like that. Something crazy. So like my baseball field like playing was instantly changed from a 6.7 ERA to a sub 2 ERA in like probably 100 inning span between college and playing summer ball. It just switched from being, hey, I'm not so fixated on this to I am still fixated, but I'm going to have fun with people as well. And it was just this ability to like relax and have fun. The bananas honestly helped loosen it up to have even more fun on the field. But it's like you don't have to be perfect. I was trying to throw perfect strikes within like like centimeter of location. And it was like, dude, you can still throw really efficiently if you can find a way to still throw strikes, still do this and still have fun.
Yeah, there's two pieces that I want to ask you about here from what you just said. You were obsessing and overthinking the mechanical side of things, and you've said in the past online that overthinking actually makes you throw slower. Now that you're a coach and you understand the biomechanics and you're an expert in this space,
Yeah.
break it down a little bit.
So when you're overthinking and analyzing your mechanics, it kind of causes you to. I always talk about this word called proprioception. It's a word that pretty much talks about how your body likes to move through space, how your body naturally just likes to have its fight or flight state through moving correctly. And when we're overthinking about how we're supposed to be moving, it kind of like stops you from being as athletic as you need to be. Watch an NBA basketball player when they jump up and try to dunk a basketball. Are they thinking about how am I moving to jump up? No, they're just athletically moving through these ranges and like dunking a basketball, moving like this, able to move into positions that they need to be in to do what they need to do. They're not thinking. They're just going out there and mother effing another dude. Like, I'm going to dunk on this guy. I'm doing what I'm doing. It's the same thing with pitching. This batter's in there trying to take you off the game. They're trying to take you off that mound. They're trying to take money off your plate and trying to like hit you as hard as they can. They're trying to hit a ball back in your face. So you have to remember that you can't be thinking mechanically when you're facing competing against someone else. It's like, no, it's time to go out there. This guy's trying to take stuff away from me. I'm not letting that happen. And you have to be athletically just moving and it's like an FU fastball to guys sometimes. It's a difference from mechanically thinking to I don't care what I'm thinking mechanically. I'm just not letting this guy beat me. And it allows you to be more free, move smoother, and as long as you've done the back end work of the mechanical work. I'm not saying to not think about mechanics because that's important when you're training and trying to develop skills. But when you get into a game, it's game time and compete mode, and it's no longer how am I moving? It's like this guy's not beating me.
Yeah, and it's ironic that you actually go to almost the opposite side of the spectrum with the Savannah Bananas, where it's probably the most relaxed, fun environment in baseball. So what was that experience like?
So when we were playing for them, that was the Coastal Plains League. So even though it's still the fun side of like guys twerking on the mound, guys doing this, I was throwing in a kilt. We still had a lot of like talent there. There's a guy in AAA with the Dodgers. There's a couple other guys that got drafted. I think there was over 10 guys that got drafted from the team overall. So it was still competitive like college summer league, but we're doing all the stuff like dancing, all the antics they still do. It was really hard to get these guys that were really high Division 1 guys to like transition from like, hey, we're only doing compete mode to, hey, we're going to compete and beat the brakes off teams. We're also going to have fun too. Bananas won, I think, back to back Coastal Plain championships. That's like the summer before I joined, the summer I was there, which was the last summer they played there in 2022. So you had a lot of guys buying into being like, this is so fun. This is amazing. And we're also like striking out a dude and then doing a backflip after. And it's totally fine to do it. So it's kind of like bringing out the inner child of like, you got all these fans, like 7,000 fans just cheering for you and just going out there and having a lot of fun. It was honestly, like, weird and hard to start to learn how to, like, do the dances they were showing, but, like, it was also kinda fun to be able to go out there and just nobody cares, and you're just gonna go out there and have fun. And that was the best summer, honestly, I've pitched, and it was still competitive baseball. Like, I had a 1.3 ERA, 1.5 ERA, and it was like, facing guys at the Coastal Plains League, which is, like, a top 3 summer league.
Isn't it incredible how much some childlike fun can help us?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing to see, like, when you just get out there and you just are free and loose and no longer just bottled up energy, like, it's just, hey, you're having fun, you're playing a kid's game, that's what the game's made for, it's not really made to be this serious thing. I know people turn it into that, but it's at the heart of the game, it's about having fun and enjoying what the hard work you've done on the front end to allow the back end stuff when you're playing to take care of itself. And it's what you've done. And if you've done it correctly and put in the hard work, just have no regrets and nothing holding you back.
Yeah, and most recently, I know you're not able to have that childlike fun on the field because you've had a roadblock here and you're recovering from Tommy John.
Yeah.
Tell us about the mental challenges of coming back from a major surgery like that.
So Tommy John surgery, when I got hurt this past year, I was pitching the best I've ever pitched in professional baseball. At the time that I got hurt, I had the lowest ERA out of all the professional leagues. I had like a 0.4 something ERA through, I think it was almost 20 innings pitched, and blew out my arm. Kind of crappy timing on that end. So like I was having this dopamine hit of pitching really good. I didn't give up a single run through the first 9 innings of the pro season. And then now I'm like dealing with this surgery. But it's like it takes you through this roller coaster of emotions of, yeah, like it really, really sucks that you're hurt now. But sometimes things are meant to be, sometimes things aren't. And I look at it as I'm going to get better than where I was before. I had some limitations. I don't know if you've seen before. My hat was flying off every single pitch. That's an issue I always had. My mechanics were not good, even though I was pitching at a very high clip, like very efficiently in elevation too. It's 4,400 elevation when I was pitching and still putting up those stats. So like I was pitching in like a really hard place to pitch and really good, but my mechanics were crap. That's why I got hurt. So it was time to go back and now refine what I need to do to come back better for the next time. And don't look at it as poor me. It's like, no, you got hurt because you were doing stuff the wrong way. And now it's time to refine yourself and get better, get back to where you can be and even better now. And that comes to nutrition, moving better, sleep, every little aspect. There's always things you can find to get better at, but also going back to the part of not taking it too serious too. So I was able to create this coaching business, which has been a blessing in disguise, and add 20 clients in the last month. So I don't think I would have started this business if I was still playing and still actively playing right now, because I would have said I didn't have enough time. So you can always use your time and effort, even if you're not playing or you can't play, into something and use your hard work to build out something for you. So before I would go train for 5, 6 hours a day. I can't really do that right now because I'm hurt. I can still train at what I can while I'm rehabbing, but I use that time and effort to build something else out right now as well.
Yeah, Justin, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I would still say it's important to really, really work hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't like to talk a lot about myself. I mean, I do because I have social media stuff, but like, I was a very hardworking kid. I knew like maybe one or two other kids that worked harder than I did, but like, it's not all about how hard you can work, how many swings you can take off a tee. Like I said, I was a hitter coming out of high school. I used to swing and hit 300 balls off a tee every single day. That was my OCD type of thing, was I'm going to hit 300 balls or I can't go to sleep because I'm not ready for the next day. So it doesn't come down to how hard or the quantity of things you're doing. It's the effectiveness of how well you're actually training. So you're way better off. I wish I would have known this earlier, to do perfect mechanics, hit 10 balls, hit 15 balls with perfect mechanics that you know are smooth, easy, than to go out and hit 300 balls at max effort energy that's burning you from both ends of the spectrum. So that's what my college coach always talked about, was think of yourself as a match. If you light it from one end and it goes this way all the way to the other end, it has a longer burnout time. If you do too less or too much, they kind of meet in the middle. But if you have like a balance of allowing one or the other to take flight, then you got a longer burnout rather than it being in the middle and like you got one end of the spectrum too much, too little. You have to meet in the middle somehow.
Yeah, without question, a common theme among the top performers is this idea of deliberate practice and having intent behind everything that you do rather than just effort itself. At the top levels, everyone works hard. Everyone puts in a lot of time and energy and effort. But, like you're talking about, are you getting the most out of that time? So I think
Yeah.
that's great advice.
Mhm.
Justin, the idea of simple wins is more than just the scoreboard. What does simple wins mean to you?
One of the simplest things, I always go back to this, was I'm growing up, my grandparents were at every single one of my games, coming through, playing little league ball from T-ball from the age of 4 or 5 years old to where I am now. A simple win was having my grandpa that came to all my games come out to Montana and see me play professional baseball. That was amazing to see him, because he was born and raised in Florida, coming out to drive all the way across the country to see everything and see the mountains, see like where I was playing, and then get to see me play professional ball. I think I had a outing in 3 innings, had like 6 strikeouts in front of him too. So I had a really, really good outing to show him coming out and rewarding him to see me play pro ball, and then getting just like to see his expressions and love for watching me grow from where I am to that. That was awesome to really see the back end stuff of how my grandparents like saw the development over the years from me struggling to, hey, now he's playing pro ball and I get to go watch him all the way across the country.
That's really cool, and I can tell you have a good heart by sharing that experience and the impact that your family has had on you. Justin, You have a lot of great advice online. Where can people find you?
I have TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. My ats are Jestin Jones, my name, Jestin Jones. Yes, it's an E, not a U. So I have a weird name, but those are my ats on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
Justin, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
I have one final question for you. Who else would benefit from listening to this conversation? If you have someone in mind, go ahead and share the episode with them right now. If you don't think of anyone immediately, go ahead and leave us a review on whatever platform you're on so people just like you can find the episode. Thank you for your time. Stay strong.